Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, reacting to some Toronto Raptors news. And yes, we have a little bit of trade news to talk about on this pod here. And as we have pretty well this entire offseason, there's been so many rumblings, so many reports, not just about Pascal Siakam, obviously our Toronto Raptor, our star that's been mildly put on the trade block at points, but across the NBA, nothing has really gone down yet. So I think everyone's just speculating and waiting for a giant domino to fall and see if anything will really happen. But we'll see if the Toronto Raptors will actually play in these games, because as I'll break down, it's looking less and less likely that the Raptors are going to make a blockbuster trade, which is probably for the better, which Riker and I have discussed numerous occasions on this podcast. But the latest news coming out surrounding Pascal Siakam, and it's coming from Jay Anderson, SacB, saying that the Sacramento Kings, the Golden State Warriors, as well as the Los Angeles Clippers are enamored with Pascal Siakam. That's right, enamored. He's breaking out the wild diction to break down how invested these teams are in trying to trade Siakam. Clearly they're not. I don't know if I'd see this as being true, because apparently the Raptors were hearing what the offers were for Pascal. I'm sure if teams were enamored with him, they'd be giving up massive packages and a deal would be done. So I don't know how to really ingest this report. And Fred VanVleet, he kind of he had his own take about it. He said, "Me too." Right? Fred's saying all these teams, all these rumors have been coming out. You know what? The Toronto Raptors and Fred VanVleet, they're enamored with Pascal Siakam as well, as they should be. Because I know a lot of people in our comment section, they just want to see Siakam traded for peanuts. Get him off this team. Let Scotty Barnes play power forward and see what you can get back for him. The argument is Siakam's not a true number one option. And I feel like, sure, he did have a poor season last year, poor bubble, but he was an absolute beast prior to that, and still was a solid, at least second, third tier option in he was our number one option. Don't get me wrong by saying that, but he still looks like a quality complementary piece on a championship level roster, which he already has been. He has a ring being the second best player on a squad, even though Kyle Lowry is probably the second most important piece. Pascal Siakam was the second option behind Kawhi Leonard on that squad. So, but with all that said, Raptors fans are still a little bit low on him, and Fred VanVleet is showing a little bit of love, so you love to see that there. And the Raptors, they've been showing a little bit of love to Pascal Siakam as well, because Bobby Webster, he came out and specifically name-dropped who he was planning on constructing his Toronto Raptors team around, and that includes Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, and he also said Pascal Siakam. So the fact that he name-dropped Pascal there brought him in, explicitly in saying he's a part of our core. I think that's a true indicator that the Raptors, whether it's, I think there's too many rumors out there to actually believe that the Raptors weren't willing to at least see what was out there, and if there's a good deal, move on from Pascal Siakam. But after seeing what the market was like for him, saying, okay, the Raptors, we're cool with keeping Pascal Siakam into this team going forward. Now, maybe this is a negotiation ploy, or this is getting put out there that the teams are increasing their willingness to trade for Pascal, and the Raptors are playing hardball. Who really knows the 40, 50, 60 chess that the Toronto Raptors like to play when negotiating trades? Obviously, free agency, we don't usually get the top players, but no team we can really say has outwitted us in terms of trades over the past decade or so, or at least the Masai Ujiri era. So I won't dive deep, over speculate on that. This is just one report, but the Toronto Raptors, they've been in so many rumors, they've been in so many talks. I guess it's fair to break down these three teams that were mentioned in this report, because the Sacramento Kings, we've already made a whole video on them. They were trying to pursue him pretty heavily with a package involving Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley. People like that trade. A lot of people were frustrated that Riker and I said that this was an absurd package, that if it was requested to us. They say Marvin Bagley, he's a center, and maybe we still need that position filled, even though we have Precious Achiuwa and Kem Birch signed to our squad now. But they're saying these types of things, as well as Buddy Hield, who's a shooting guard that can knock down the threes, a pretty efficient scorer on the offensive end. He's looking for his way out of Sacramento. But a wing that's never been an all-star, is an older player, is a older young player, so to speak. I know he was a rookie only a couple of years ago, but he was an older guy coming in. He's about 27, 28, 29, so not a lot of room to grow for Buddy Hield. He might even be older than that. And then Marvin Bagley, who's injury prone and just seems just not to be vibing there in Sacramento. That's not enough of a return. I said they'd have to add a multitude of picks in order to accept that deal from Sacramento, but I don't know. I've been, people disagree, people agree. The people are all over the place on the Pascal Siakam spectrum on how much they want him to stay. So I won't dive into the Sacramento Kings that further. In the Golden State Warriors, more of an older report. I think that trade was more likely, the one that they offered with Wiggins, Wiseman, and 2 of their first round picks this season. That would have been more likely if the Raptors had the opportunity to make those draft picks, if they were the ones that were able to select. Because we know the Raptors like to sort of not necessarily go off the board, but do the things their own way, a little bit unconventional in their draft picks. And obviously now you'd have to take, even though the picks that the Golden State Warriors are made seem to be solid picks and Raptors-esque picks in terms of Jonathan Kuminga at 7 and Moses Moody at I think they had 14. So those would be 2 interesting guys to come back. I know a lot of people say that they regret the Raptors didn't do this deal, so maybe hindsight 2020, Masai Ujiri would offer this one again, but I don't want to see that one either. I don't want a bunch of random young guys for a guy that has been proven to be a number 2 option on a championship roster. And maybe that's a bad take. Maybe you're not being sold on one of those players' potential as a noob move, but I like the guys that where I've seen it. They have experience with this team. We already have enough young players in Barnes, OG, Gary Trent Jr., where our future is going to be bright. It's good to have a good mix of young veterans and young players to grow your roster, grow your team. So I like Siakam on this roster in terms of that deal. Now, the next team that is that was listed on that is the LA Clippers, and I'll bring it back to base. I'm sure all the segments are going to play at once, but the LA Clippers, I'm giving them the DeMar Carroll Gold Star Award, as always, when the Clippers get brought up on this podcast, because they're reportedly enamored with Pascal Siakam. I don't think this needed to be reported, because clearly the LA Clippers are enamored with anyone that played with Kawhi Leonard on that championship roster. Maybe Kawhi is too. Maybe Kawhi's looking at it and saying, wow, that team that I won the championship with had really good players. There's a really good system. Maybe the Clippers are also going to be enamored with Nick Nurse and Masai Ujiri and maybe the city of Toronto, right? Maybe they're just going to take everything from this Raptors organization, because clearly they can't do it themselves. They're trying to poach all our guys away. They have nothing to offer us for Pascal Siakam. They're not going to give us Kawhi. Well, clearly, they're not going to put Kawhi back, right? Paul George, I know he had a decent playoff run this year, but I'd still take Pascal Siakam over Playoff P, right? Playoff P is the original Playoff P. He's way more injury prone and just doesn't fit Raptors culture, Raptors vibe. He kind of made fun of the team when he joked during the time when he got traded to the Clippers. Apparently he played a prank on his family saying he got traded to Toronto and tried to make them all depressed and such things, and just left a really bad taste in people that followed the Toronto Raptors mouths, the fact that he'd say that, considering the team just won the championship, and then he used we're going to Toronto as sort of a slight, as something there. Just this absurdity from Paul George. Get him out of here. I don't want him on the roster. And what are they going to offer us? Patrick Beverley and Luke Kennard? Are they going to offer us? I don't even know who else is on that team. Get out of here with all that blasphemy at the LA Clippers. I hate that they're even reported. They're rumored in a potential Pascal Siakam trade. Go poach players off another organization. Go do it to the Lakers or something, because we don't want any of that business, that Steve Ballmer business up here. You can go grab the thighs and the memes of other players and fans. I'm just ranting here. I'm rambling, but I don't know. If I'm making this take, as I mentioned at the start of this podcast, Bobby Webster came out and explicitly said, we're building around Fred, OG, and Pascal. Though that's our core. That's our 3 guys. Obviously, Scotty Barnes, Trent, they'll fit into it, but those are our vets that have been on this team for a long time and know the ropes. They're going to be leading the way as we go on the next few seasons, and then hopefully our young talents are able to complement them enough to where we can make a deep playoff run again. And I'm confident I'm confident. I keep saying it on this podcast. I'm booking it in that we're going to be a top 4 seed next season. People are calling me crazy, but we're going to be very nice. Look at our Summer League team play and tell me that roster just on steroids with our core guys isn't going to be just absolutely dominant in this year's Eastern Conference. I don't know. I think y'all are sleeping. Stay sleeping on the Toronto Raptors. We don't need to make any big trades. I trust Bobby. I trust Masai. I trust Pascal. We are going to be good. We are going to be good. And despite the Sacramento Kings, the Golden State Warriors, and the Los Angeles Clippers being enamored with Pascal Siakam, I don't think a trade is going to happen. So that's my take, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, what you think is going to happen and what you'd like to see happen. Break down some trades. We like to see the trade ideas in the comment section. So, but you guys are the best for making this far. Check out the Instagram, the TikTok, all that cool stuff. Another video probably coming later on tonight with Riker and I, so wanted to get this one out to keep the news, stay on top of it. So you're the best, as I mentioned. Subscribe to Raptors Digest. We're so close. We're so close to that 20K subscriber mark. So do it before at least we see Lowry in a Heat jersey, or get some photos of him so we can change this animation. We don't have to make a new animation. But anyways, I'm signing off. Cheers.